Hello? Hello?
Hello,
Have
hello.
you have you been booted out? I was not seeing you anymore.
Ndaburiswa ndisati zvafamba sei.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Welcome to Transcal Business School. I am the ACCA tutor, Mr. Jerry Mutumukulu. And
Mhm.
in this particular session, we just want to introduce the subjects as well as ourselves to each other. Okay? Um,
Yeah.
like I said, I am Jerry Mutumukulu. And what's your name?
Yeah, Olinda.
And where are you from right now? Where are you, I mean, engaging from right now?
Cape Town.
Oh, Cape Town. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So as we discussed on WhatsApp sometime earlier on, we are going to crash this 3 months program into say 2 months. All right. So
Mm.
it means that we are going to work extra hard. Pachashandwa amai yandidika.
Mhm.
Oh, my sister,
Okay,
I'm
fine.
sorry. Okay, so Pachasenzewa, my sister, and we need to put some, some extra stamina to ensure that we finish this thing once and for all. I have given you some work to do, and the due date is tomorrow. I expect you to have completed the work. You need to watch those videos. Do not worry about the grammar or the poor English, this and that. What is very important is that you need to get the nuances, the facts that are contained in the content. This way,
Yeah, ndikukunzwisisai, but I went through uh video MA, I think. I went through the whole video and my notes MA. And so from there I tried to then go and answer the question. And I don't know why some of the questions were quite difficult or sort of new,
they were
or
not
the material was not in the in
okay.
either the video or the note.
All right,
Right.
okay, that's fine.
Zvakafanana nema disadvantage eh, decentralization and stuff like that.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, fine. That's okay. All right. The questions I gave you were actually, are actually past exam questions. All right, and
Mm, mm.
the notes or the lecture or the tutor is just there to, to
Scrap
stimulate.
the surface.
All right, not really the surface, but to stimulate critical thinking in you. I don't expect to, you are not expected to get everything from the notes, uh, but we give you the tips, and then from the tips, you then have to be creative. You
Mm,
need to at least go some extra mile in, digging deeper the information. But I'm very happy. It shows that you actually did read the notes and watch the videos, and you are somebody
mm,
who is goal oriented. And yeah, you are somebody who
mm.
is actually up to the goal. Now, you have mentioned decentralization and centralization, all those things. Now, when you talk of decentralization, we are simply saying that we are giving the local people more power. The head office, which might be in Joburg, is giving more power to provinces. For example, in
Mm,
KZN, Cape Town,
mm,
those
mm,
individuals are given some powers to decide.
mm, mm,
Everything is not centralized in Pretoria, but it has been distributed. All right.
mm,
So,
mm.
what are the advantages of such a setup? The advantages is that, one of the advantages is that um, the local people now, can now make decisions fast in response to the
Yeah.
demands. You understand?
Mm, mm. It's no
Also,
longer a chain of we're waiting for.
Yeah, for waiting for people in Pretoria to receive the complaint, and then they sit, they go. I mean, those formalities. Sometimes when the decision comes, I mean, a small, a small problem would have turned into a disaster. So there is no
Yes, yes.
delay. You understand? There won't be any delay. That's decentralization. Also, the type of solution that is going to come up from the decentralized people is actually
Yeah,
likely to be, I mean, tuned to the demands of the situation.
yeah, very practical to the situation, unlike someone who is just speaking from a distance and they don't really understand the nitty-gritties of the issue.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
Yeah, but what are the disadvantages then? What do you think are the disadvantages?
No, you may not. I think some of the disadvantages is that uh, I don't know, decisions might not really speak to the bigger picture of of the whole um,
Organize.
organization. Let's just say it's a huge organization. So
Mhm.
decisions made in KwaZulu Natal are not the same decisions made in Cape Town. And so there's lack of uniformity in how things go about in such an organization because
Yes, that's
now
true.
Cape Town is doing its own thing, Pretoria is doing its own thing, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
There are issues to do with quality consistency, all those
Mm,
things. What happens in Joburg sometimes is different from what is going to happen in Limpopo, all those things.
mm,
You understand?
mm,
So that's actually the other thing is loss of power or loss of control.
mm,
There are some provinces which are more powerful than the other because of decentralization.
mm,
The head office
mm.
doesn't have enough power to control what should be done.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, the objectives of the organization are going to suffer.
Mm, mm.
Are we together? So
Yes.
those are the things which in the notes we just talk a little about this piece, but we expected you then to go deeper and uh, do something extra.
Mm, mm.
Okay, so do you now have the syllabus?
I got the one that's the FA1 one. I went through and I saw the breakdown of the topics. I didn't see the MA1 one, or maybe I didn't look well.
All right.
Um,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Let me show you how you can get the syllabus right away. The syllabus is just online. Okay. So allow
mm,
me to share the screen right now. I'm sharing the screen. Think let me share the screen of. All right. Mm, mm, mm. Good. All right. All right. For the syllabus, you just have to go online. If you go online and type
mm.
ACCA, if you say, are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
You're seeing, right? Oh, that's fine.
Mm,
If you just type ACCA FA1 syllabus, okay, it will pop up and then you just press enter. You then go on the ACCA website there. There is FA1 syllabus. You click the link there and then you are in the syllabus, on the syllabus portal. And you are going to see there are two syllabi you are going
oh,
to
I
see,
see.
all right? Then the one that is relevant to us because we want to write this examination in the next 2 months. So we just click this one that is ending in August 2025, that is this year. You just click
Mm,
it, all right? You can download it straight away. So this is now our FA1 syllabus. Okay, if you want the MA1, just do the same. Just go on the
the same.
browser and search for it. You download it straight away. All right. The
Okay.
syllabus is going to assist you because you need to start with the focus of passing the examination, knowing what is going to
Mm,
be asked. By the end of the day, if you just read these things like reading a newspaper without any direction, you're going to have a lot of information, but which is not going to assist you in passing the examination. So you need to direct your focus and energy on the syllabus. All right. So our syllabus has got how many areas? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 areas. Okay. These are the areas we are expected to excel in. Well, let us discuss about the syllabus area. For the ACCA, this is FA1. The FA1. All right. So on successful completion of this syllabus or of the examination, you should show abilities in describing types of business transactions and documentation. Which means mapasa is So you need to be able to describe my business transactions. My business transactions, for example, if you are saying sales, you must describe what sales are. All right?
Yeah.
If you are talking of purchases, you need to tell us what a purchase is. Are we together? There are a lot of transactions. Sometimes we are talking of an income transaction. Sometimes we are talking of an expense. All of those things you need to be able to articulate and describe what they are. Are we together? Then there is also an aspect of documentation, to document things. There are certain business documents you need to be able to describe. All right? This includes things like invoices. You need to be able to tell us what an invoice is. You need to tell us what a credit note is, what a receipt is. All right? Then there is an aspect of books of accounts, books of original entry and books of double entry. Original entry and books of double entry. All right? When we are talking of original entry, there are about 5 books we are talking about. All right?
Yeah.
All those things, the notes, they were there in the notes, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So you just have to be, to be able to have these things cast at the back of your head, to be cast in stone in your heart, so that you won't forget them. All right.
Yes.
Then the other area.
And then I saw.
All right. Okay, come up. Come again.
I saw in the questioning, or maybe it was in my head, or I don't know whether it was MA or FA.
All right.
Where you almost need to know the procurement process. Like, where are you starting? Where then does it take you to an end? So knowing that you first making a requisition, and from the requisition, this is what happens, and like a whole chain. Like, is it very necessary for me to know that whole chain, or I must just know it in passing?
You need.
Do I need to know everything to say now that the shoes that I sent to Mr. Mutumkulu were not good? He's gonna send me a credit note of saying 10 of your pairs of shoes were not good, and is it necessary, or it's something that I just need to know as someone who is studying accounting?
All right, thank you very much. Like I said, this is a professional certification, and a professional accountant should know those processes. You need to know, all right, you need to know where things start and end. How a transaction is initiated. Like, for example, if we are talking of a sales transaction, we need to see a customer coming to you, or maybe you are a retailer and you are somebody on the till. All right. A sales transaction can start at the point of sale, or at the counter, where somebody enters your shop and say, I want bread. So there is somebody who has initiated that transaction. A customer has come to you. All right. But you then that one is in a setup of a small shop. But if it is a business to business transaction, we are expecting to see people like the sales are going to be initiated maybe by the salespeople, the salespersons who go out to companies, they advertise products, or they then get orders from the customers. So in that situation, a salesperson has approached a potential customer. Then the customer says, "Wow, I want your product. Can you give me some?" So the customer raises a purchase order, saying that they want something from us. Then when they do that, we receive that, and then ask ourselves, do we have the items in the warehouse? If we do have those items, we then prepare what is called a sales order to the customer. If the customer is happy, then we are going then to send the goods to them. But there are also other documents we need to do. For example, we need to dispatch the goods with a dispatch note. All right. We also have, after the customer receives the goods, we also have to raise an invoice. Because it is the invoice that is going to demand payment from them. If we do not raise the invoice, we do not have the power to ask for money.
Yes.
You understand? So this is why I say that we need to be able to understand this animal called invoice.
Okay.
All right. So you need to understand those. So the notes clearly, articulate the processes, the documents that are going to be involved. All right. Sometimes if you want to buy something, you need to seek for a quotation from, let's say, maybe 3 potential suppliers, and then you evaluate based on the cost of the item as well as the quality of the item. It's not only about costs. Sometimes we also need things which are expensive as long as they are of high quality. Okay. Then the other area you are expected to do or to cover is area B. And that's when you say that, oh, there's a lot of problem on double entry, this and that. All right. We are going to do.
But I think you really explained it better when you used that pills.
Okay.
So my understanding became a little bit clearer there, because then I understood that, in my head, I knew that if we buy electricity, we're going to debit electricity. But then where to from there? I didn't understand. But when you therefore put that pills thing, it sort of, although I'm not very confident, I think I can now ask myself, what is this? Is this an expense? Is this a what? At least that's gonna really help to some extent. So yeah, I appreciate that.
All right. Let me just say, don't worry, because that's the lecture we are going to cover as our second week work. So the moment I see your work tomorrow, I will then take you to this particular area. Now, after we do the double entry bookkeeping, we then move on to summarize the banking system and transactions. All right. We are expected to know those things as well. Then we move on to payroll transactions. There are also some double entries we are going to do in payroll. Then we move on to the ledger accounts. The T account is also an expansion of the double entry. Okay. Then we should be able to record sales and credit transactions, record purchases and credit transactions, perform some bank reconciliations, and then lastly, we need to be able to prepare a trial balance. So you can see that most of the items we are going to cover here is double entry. The moment you understand double entry, you can see that you are going to pass this paper with flying colors.
I hope I can understand it.
Yeah, you're going to understand it. The sooner, the better. All right. So I think this is, let me just shares the part of the notes so that maybe I explain one or two. There is an aspect of coding which I just want to discuss with you. With the code
Oh, yeah.
problematic.
Yes, understanding them was almost I could understand like this is the sequential, this is the hierarchical, this is, but when it comes to then questioning where I need to, it was like a mystery. I couldn't understand. I don't know why. I think when I see the codes, it's like, yeah, let's go there. I think it's a good idea.
All right, all right. Okay. Are you seeing the screen?
Yes, I am.
All right. Let me try to, you know, just rush through. All right. Okay, those are the sequences we have been talking about. Okay, the need for effective control, principles and practice of double-end bookkeeping, those things. All right, because by the end of the day, in accounting, we have got, I mean, a transaction as it is recorded in the ledgers, it should have a debit and a credit. I mean, a transaction is going to have an impact both on the debit side and the credit side.
Mm.
All right. So normally by default, assets are on the debit. I mean, have got debit balances. All right. When we increase, let's say we bought a motor vehicle, when we increase the motor vehicle account, we are going to debit that account. So the account is receiving that, the motor vehicle. So it is increasing. All right. But we also have got items which are increased by crediting. All right. For example, incomes or liability. All right. Income, like for example, if income like sales, all right. If we talk of sales or other incomes, these ones are increased by crediting. So by default, they've got a credit balance. If your sales figure has got a debit balance, it simply means that maybe the customer overpaid you, right? Maybe the customer has overpaid, or maybe you are in a loss situation.
Okay.
All right. So in a loss situation, that's when you are going to have a debit. But if everything is beneficial, is at an advantage, that increase is being credited to. It's your credit. All right. But we also have got liabilities. Liabilities are also on the credit. Remember, there is what is called an accounting equation. Accounting equation says that assets of the business equal to equity plus liability. All right. When you are talking of equity, equity is another liability, but equity is a special liability. It is the owner's capital. If you start a business today, all right, you are borrowing your business some money. In accounting, we are saying the business and the owner are two different entities. All right? Chero zviri zvako, but makasiyana in the eyes of an accountant.
Yes.
Saka ufanga kutora mari yemasales tinotenga muriwo. Andidika?
Muriwo
All right. Kana ukadaro unenge wakutozvisanganisa kana kuisa mari yako, mari yebusiness uchiisa muwallet uchifamba nayo. So of course the small people, small entrepreneurs, they do that, but that's why they end up having problems with tax people, right? Yes. So we are saying equity, this E is a special liability. It's a special loan to the business, right? But in this equity, there is owner's capital, there's owner's capital, there is also profit that has been made by the business.
Oh, yeah.
In that equity bracket, all right? The owner's capital as well as the profit that has been accumulated over time. It is going to be accumulated under equity. So this is why I say all these, the incomes, the liabilities, they're always going to be increased by crediting because they are on the credit side. This is the credit side, and this other side is the debit side. The assets side is the debit side. And the other side, the equities and the liabilities, they are credited. They are the credit side. So on this table you are seeing on the screen, there, let me just rub some of these things off. Okay, on this table, we are saying, let us look at the debit side first.
Yes.
Okay, I've been given 40 minutes by Zoom. I'm sure I still have some minutes. Okay, let us look at this side, the debit side. This means that there is an increase in an asset, so we are going to debit it. An increase in expenses. So you have been talking of electricity, all right? Electricity is like rent, it's like telephone expense. Those are expenses. So if you increase an expense, you need to debit it. That's the rule. You just have to memorize this, okay? Because there is no way I can say this is the logic why they are saying credit, why they are saying debit. But we are simply saying it is a rule that assets and expenses are increased by debiting. All right. So if assets are increasing, we are debiting assets. But if they are decreasing, we need to credit the asset.
Yes.
You understand? So if you just have to know the default position. The default position is that if assets are increasing, we debit them. If expenses are increasing, we debit them. All right? Yes. Let us wait here before we cross off. Let us go to the credit side and speak about the expenses and assets again. If the assets are decreasing, we are going to credit the assets. Why? Because they are decreasing. If expenses are decreasing, we are also going to credit the expenses. But the question that comes is, how can assets decrease? How can expenses decrease? Expenses are going to decrease if, oh, I'm left with 10 minutes. Sorry.
Oh, you can't increase that time,
All right, I don't know. Okay. All right. I think I will resend the
link.
The link. Okay. All right. Now, I was talking of decreasing assets.
Yeah. How do you decrease expense? Yeah.
Yeah. How can you decrease an expense? Before I tell you, I want you to tell me, how can you do that?
I'm trying to think. I've got an expense here of.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What are you going to write?
Let me look at it and think.
All right. There is all right, let's start from the asset or with the asset. An asset when being used.
With an asset, I think it's possible. Let's just say we've got a car for today. I've got a car for 50,000, which I've bought. It could decrease in that. there could be depreciation or things like that that could happen to it, and so the value of that asset decreases over time. But I'm thinking, how does an expense decrease? I'm not wrapping my head around it. I don't know.
All right. Yes. Sometimes expenses are decreased because of maybe improved business systems. The maintenance costs, for example, they are decreased if we have adopted good asset management policies, right? That's another issue. Or we have adopted maybe new systems, or we have renegotiated with suppliers. If we renegotiate, for example, with our telephone services suppliers, to say, guys, if you charge us dollar per minute, you are killing our company. Can can we renegotiate, and you guys are charging us 78 cents per minute? All right. In so doing, we are decreasing. So what is the impact? The impact is that instead of debiting the expense, this time around, because there has been a reduction in the expense, we're going to crediting the expense account. Are we together?
Yeah.
Or sometimes we have received some discounts. All those things are also going to lower the expense.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's jump over to a decrease in liability. We say that when liabilities are increasing, we are crediting. When income is increasing, we are crediting it. But the converse is also true. If the liability is decreasing, we are going to debit the liability, as you are seeing here. We'll jump to the other side. If income is decreasing, we are also going to debit the income. You understand this through the examples. I'm sure I've given you a series of examples.
Yeah.
You would have used these things applicably. Now, this is an accounting equation. All right. This is the same accounting equation. All right. By default, it starts like this. Assets is equal to equity plus liabilities. I said equity includes the capital, the profit, and everything, all those transactions that occur in this. So this is where we have got our capital plus the profit minus, if you take money from the business, those are drawings. So all these are equity transactions. So you can see that it is the same equation. So we have only rearranged the equation to say, let us make E subject of the formula. And this is the E. All these three items are part of the E.
Okay.
Are we together? All those three items on the right side of your screen there, they are equities.
Okay.
But they have been broken down. All right. And we have actually changed the position of the L. We have actually transposed it to the other side so that we make equities subject of the formula.
Okay.
All right.
So that's why it is on the other side taken a
negative. Yes, but it's still the same equation. So in the examination, the examiner might just say, which one of the following is an accounting equation? And you are only used to assets is equal to equity plus liabilities, and then you don't know what is in equity. Sometimes the examiner would actually give you the types of assets. Like, for example, we've got non-current assets plus current assets is equal to capital plus profit minus drawings plus non-current liabilities plus current liabilities. And then you are confused and say, oh, where are those other things coming from? You need to break these things down. to understand the elements that are involved in each of those. Are we together? Good.
Yes.
Let me just take you to the those codes. There are no codes inside here. What's happening? What's happening here? Okay, those are the double entries. Okay, let me just check in the other notes and see.
Okay.
Let me just try to squeeze. Bear with me. I'm sure you're seeing the screen. Are you seeing me? Are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me try. Maybe here. Yes. Coding systems. Okay. We're left with 2 minutes. So to code is just to try to convey a complex information or somehow, lengthy information into compatible and concise information. For example, instead of describing an item in the books as the 50 centimeter high resolution LED television, we are only going to come up with a code that shortens that information, but at the same time conveying all the essential information that will enable us to identify this particular product. So a good code is concise. All right. This means it is actually shorter and quicker to write. But in its shortness, it has to be precise. So in the examination, you may be asked, what is the difference between concise and precise information? It should remove that ambiguity. We need to be able to identify. It should be straight to the point. That's being precise, isn't it? Yeah. Then it should enable automatic processing. It also should be able to enable the checking mechanism. Automatic processing simply means that it should be read by the computers, right? But checking, we are simply saying that it should enable the checking mechanism or control mechanism. For example, if we know that our assets have got 4 codes, four letters or four digits. Our code has got 4 digits. If we input 5 digits in the system will decline. Are we together? So that's the checking mechanism and so forth, all those things. All right. Let me just stop sharing and reshare with you because it is about to cut.
Oh.
Yeah, there is 1 minute. You can see here, it's 1 minute.